Today's program will be presented in Indonesian, in English with
subtitles,
in Arabic all axis, also known as Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Hungarian, Indonesian, Japanese, Korean, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Punjabi, Spanish, and Thai. Salam para pemirsa yang anggun. Nama saya Parsa dari Banjarnegara, Indonesia. Penduduk kami berdoa kepada Allah agar mengisi hari-hari Anda dengan berkah dan keajaiban surgawi. Acara hari ini adalah bagian pertama dari wawancara dengan yang terhormat Bapak Shamil Aloprado, pendiri masyarakat Muslim vegetarian. Shamil adalah seorang vegetarian, juga seorang praktisi Sufi. Dia berkata, dia yakin bahwa semua agama adalah jalan menuju Allah. Dia mengubah hatinya dan menjadi vegetarian 6 tahun yang lalu, setelah mengalami sejumlah pertemuan mencerahkan dengan hewan-hewan. Terlahir di Kashmir, kini ia tinggal di London, Inggris, di mana dia mengelola masyarakat Muslim vegetarian. Di sanalah ia mendedikasikan waktunya untuk mempromosikan gaya hidup yang lebih sehat dan ramah melalui vegetarisme.
Assalamualaikum. That means peace be upon you in Arabic. My name is Shamil Aloprado. I'm the head of the Vegetarian Muslim Society. I'm also a practitioner of Sufism, which is an esoteric understanding of Islam. And I'm also head of Academia de Capoeira Mundo, capoeira teacher.
Shamil menjadi seorang vegetarian 6 tahun yang lalu setelah dia mengalami beberapa pengalaman yang tidak lazim dengan hewan-hewan. Dia merasakan bahwa hewan-hewan seperti juga manusia memiliki perasaan dan bisa terhubung dengan orang-orang yang berinteraksi dengan mereka. Saat hewan-hewan terluka, mereka berdarah dan bahkan mungkin mati, seperti halnya diri kita.
I began my vegetarian journey with a very spiritual experience. Basically, I was suffering from depression, and I went to visit an old school of mine, which had been changed into a farmyard, like these farmyard plots. And I was feeling really down, and somebody left a gate open on one of the farmyard plots, and all the animals came rushing out. And some of the animals, like you expect to come up to you, like goats and sheep. But then it was even chickens came up to me, and they started rubbing themselves as if to comfort me. And at that point, I had a kind of revelation about, I didn't see them as animals as much as like I saw them like almost like children looking for attention or looking to comfort you. So that's the first time I started to see them beyond just a source of food. Okay, so after that experience, then I went to Hajj, which was the holy pilgrimage to Mecca. And during the Hajj, I saw an Arab guy kick a cat out of the way in one of the most holiest places. Now during the Hajj, you're not allowed to kill any living thing, not even insects. You're supposed to minimize your clothing to 2 pieces of cloth, and you have to be absolutely spiritually pure. Then immediately after that, I went to visit the shrine of Imam Rumi in Konya in Turkey. And at the shrine, a cat had been injured on the road, got run over by a car, but it managed to crawl all the way to the tomb of one of these saints, and it'd gone there to die. And it sat on top of the tomb and it was looking at me, and then for some reason it just seemed to like perk up a little bit and then go off again, even though it was bleeding from its face. And I felt like these were all like messages from animals, because I just started to see them on a completely different thing. So when I returned, I vowed that I would stop eating meat, because I just felt I was no longer it was no longer a food source. It was like I was eating companions. You know, I see them as people. People that look towards me and have a connection with.
Setelah Shamil menjadi vegetarian, ia menghadapi banyak pertanyaan dan kesalahpahaman dari beberapa sahabat sesama Muslim. Ia terinspirasi untuk menjalankan masyarakat Muslim vegetarian agar mendorong, membantu, mendukung Muslim lainnya untuk menerapkan suatu gaya hidup sehat dan mulia.
And also, there's a saying that meat is like an addiction, and you can get addicted to meat, and it's very bad for you, right? And it actually changes your personality by eating meat. That's in Islam as well. I realized that within the concept of Islam, if something is allowed, doesn't mean that you have to do it. It's allowed under certain circumstances, and I think a lot of times people very rarely ate meat in the ancient times. It was a luxury. They'd eat like once a year. So it was allowed in the concept of like, it was a necessity, but it wasn't. There was strict criteria around it. And in contemporary world, nobody's sticking to that criteria. And so I started this society. Actually, it was a friend of mine who started and introduced me to it. And then he decided to leave it, and I continued to run it. And it's basically a forum for Muslims who wish to stop eating meat. And it also leads on to another society, which is the vegan Muslim society. So it's a stepping stone between the two. And it's just to give them some kind of religious comfort that they're doing the right thing.
Baru-baru ini, masyarakat Muslim vegetarian sedang menikmati pertumbuhan pesat karena lebih banyak lagi orang yang beralih ke gaya hidup vegetarian atau vegan.
Recently, there's been a massive increase in membership because I feel like there's a universal conscience around these issues, and it's really good that Muslims are starting to go back into the ancient texts to look at their faith and find the answers, and they will find that involving himself in the industry around me is completely connected to cruelty. And we're supposed to be just people. We're supposed to have a conscience and believe in being merciful and beneficent towards all living things.
Sementara masyarakat Muslim vegetarian berkembang dari waktu ke waktu. Gaya hidup vegetarian telah membantu Shamil membuat kemajuan luar biasa dalam latihan spiritualnya.
As a Sufi and a dervish means somebody who's trying to purify himself to be a Sufi. My vegetarian lifestyle has opened me up to something that I didn't realize existed before, which is that if you stop eating meat, it expands your conscience. And this is something that you can't really explain to anyone unless they do it. You can try and put in as many words as you can, but until somebody stops eating meat, they will not understand this thing. Once you stop eating meat, you do not see a single creature in the way that you saw them before. Yeah? Now, if a fly is in my home and it's banging against the window, I don't think about finding ways of killing it. I open the window and let the fly out because that's a living creature that deserves the right to live its life just as much as I do. It changes you, it connects you with things. And in Islam, for example, even insects are considered very, very important. Spiders have a very amazing role in Islam. Spiders saved the Prophet from being discovered by building a web around him when he was in a cave. And whether you believe these stories or not is not really, it's the message behind them that's important. And the Quran is full of chapters with names of animals. Yet the Muslim attitude, mainstream contemporary Muslim attitude towards animals isn't sort of connected with what the historical aspect and the teachings are.
Dengan kesadaran yang telah meluas ini, Shamil menemukan bahwa Al-Quran mendukung kesetaraan semua makhluk dan mendukung vegetarisme.
I found support in Islamic scripture, in the Quran and some hadith that support vegetarianism. But the thing that you have to understand about the Quran, and it's not a set of rules. This is what a lot of Muslims don't understand. It's not a set of rules, it's a set of guidance. And in order to understand it, you have to read and understand and read over and over again and find the answers. And within the scripture, there's an important verse in the Quran. Now, the one thing I don't do is I don't quote verses as they are, because in Islam we believe in something called hijaza. You have to have permission from a scholar to be able to quote, to prevent you misquoting and leading somebody astray. But the general idea is that there's not a creature upon this earth that flies, that walks on the earth or crawls, that does not have communities like you. This is what it says in the Quran, that they are communities just like you. So they are people, and they are they have communities in the same kind of a connection with the world as you have. And I think that's a very important thing, because if these are communities, right, you do not go and exploit other communities. This is not for the message of the faith.
Kami berterima kasih pada Shamil Aloprado atas waktu yang ia berikan untuk berbagi pandangannya mengenai Islam dan mendukung gaya hidup nabati. Untuk informasi lebih lanjut tentang masyarakat Muslim vegetarian, silahkan kunjungi para pemirsa yang tercerahkan. Terima kasih atas kehadiran Anda hari ini di bagian pertama wawancara luar biasa kami dengan Bapak Shamil Aloprado dalam acara Kata-Kata Bijak. Bergabunglah lagi minggu depan untuk mengikuti wawancara bagian kedua dan terakhir. Selanjutnya adalah perjalanan mistis ke kedalaman bumi, pesan dari bumi berongga, bagian kedua dari 2 seri. Tetaplah bersama Supreme Master Television. Semoga damai beserta Anda dan seluruh makhluk di sekitar Anda. For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/WOW.